to the left, and then to the right. Yeah, this is not safe, and you're gonna be wobbling all over the lane. How do you go from 70 miles per hour to 0 without using your brakes? On this video, I'm gonna show you, plus I'm gonna answer some other questions that you guys have been asking as well. Let's get into it. So somebody asked, why does their car rumble when they're in second gear? So right now I'm in second gear, and you can see the RPMs are just around 1000 RPMs, or a bit just under 1000. This is when the car will start to rumble. If I go even slower than this, the car's gonna rumble even more, because this gear is not good for this speed. The rumbling is telling you that the gear you're in is too high for the speed you're trying to go. So even if I go into gear 3 at this sort of speed, if I go too slow for gear 3, so right now, you see the RPMs, the car starts rumbling. If your car is rumbling because of the gear you're in, there are 3 ways to stop it rumbling. So let's say like now, if I'm going slowly in second gear, and then the speed is too slow for second, I can increase my speed, and then that way the rumbling stops, because now the speed is good for this gear. Or if going faster is not an option, and I want to go even slower, the next option would be to go into first gear. And that way, when I bring the clutch up, the car is going to be nice and smooth, it's not rumbling anymore. Or the third option is, let's say I want to turn into the side road here. I want to keep it in second for whatever reason, and the car's rumbling. Let's say I'm going to turn into here. And then if I brake a bit, and then the car's rumbling, what I can do, I can just dip the clutch a tiny bit. That stops rumbling, and then bring it up again, because I can go a bit faster. If I want to go slower there, then I'll go into 1. But if I know I'm going to slow down just a tiny bit and then carry on going faster, I can just bring the clutch down a little bit. That smooths it out, and then I can carry on. So I did a video recently about stopping your car without using the brakes, in case your car has brake failure. And someone suggested that you can just throw it into neutral. We're going to find out now which one's better, to go into neutral or to use your gears to slow the car down. Okay, so right now I'm in gear 3. So first, let's just try throw it into neutral, see what happens. I'm going to go into neutral when I go past this tree here, so that way it's a fair test. So once I go past this tree, I'm going to go into neutral, let go of all the pedals, and then we'll see how long it takes for the car to stop. So I'm not pressing any pedals. This is just the momentum of the car pushing us forward now. We're going to see how far it's going to take for the car to stop without using any pedals, without using any gear, any engine braking. So it still hasn't stopped. Remember, my brakes are not working right now. I'm not going to use my brakes because my brakes are not working. So it's taken us all the way down the road to this bus stop here, and then finally around here it's going to come to a stop. So quite a long way. Now let's see the difference when we use engine braking. So we're going to get to about the same speed in third gear. Once we go past that same tree again, I'm going to come off the gas and start gearing down so that we can slow this car down and see how long it takes. So once we go past the tree around now, I come off the gas. Remember, I've got no brakes right now. I'm going to go into second just to bring the speed down a bit more. Yeah, I'm going to go into first, bring it down even more. Let me stop here. Actually, I can even stop somewhere here. I'm going to make sure I don't hit this car. And then before I hit this car, clutch down and handbrake on. And you see, much quicker than going all the way down the road. So using the gears was much faster, and stopping the car. To answer your question, the car will stop much faster if you use your gears. On a different video where I showed you guys how to reverse back slowly, a lot of people were mentioning that you should use the brakes instead of using the clutch control. So let me show you what I did to control the speed. So let's say you want to go back slowly. Yeah, you bring the clutch to the biting point and then down a little bit. Bring it up and then down a bit, because if you keep it in the same spot, see, the car will start to pick up speed and eventually you're going to go too fast. But a few people have suggested that you bring the clutch to the biting point and then you use the brakes to control your speed. So this here right now, the car is fighting itself. The brake is telling the car not to move. The clutch is trying to move the car back. Yeah, so it's like there's a lot of strain here. If anything, this is gonna burn the clutch more than the other way around. Lots of people are saying that if you do this, you're gonna burn the clutch. That's not true. This car is almost 8 years old. I've taught hundreds of people to drive this way. I drive this way all the time with the car. It does not burn the clutch. But having the clutch up at a biting point and having power on and then using your brakes, you're more likely to damage the clutch that way. So the best way to do it would be like this, and not with your foot on the brake while your clutch is on the on position. Lots of you guys didn't believe that engine braking could work at high speeds. I'm going to show you that it can work. So right now we're doing 60 miles per hour, which is just around 100 kilometers per hour, for the person who was asking. And we're going to go, so imagine our brakes are not working anymore, our brakes have failed. We're going to slow the car down. So even when I come off the gas, already the car is starting to slow down, but let me slow down a bit more. I'm going into fourth, maybe even third, bring the clutch up a bit more, and then into second. This makes it even slower. And then now it's going really slow. I slowed it down. If I was to stop, I could even stop here if I knew my brakes weren't working, but I can even carry on a bit more with the gas. And I'm going to turn left into this petrol station because I want to be in a safe place to stop. I'm not going to use the brakes at all to come to a full stop. Remember, the whole time from 60 to 0, I'm doing this without any brakes. Once I come off, I can go into first, into neutral, make the car slow down a little bit more, and then I'll put my handbrake on, secure the car, and then check out what the problem is and get my brakes sorted out. So you see, it is possible to stop the car with just the engine braking from high speeds like 60 miles per hour to 0. I'm going to ease off the gas. The car coming down very fast, so I'm going to slow down a bit. So you want to be aware of those cars doing stuff like that, because there was no other way for him to go. Either he was going to go and crash into this van, or he was going to crash into me, or he's going to change lanes. So you need to be aware of that. And then here, lots of people don't realize these two lanes are coming together, but if you look on the floor there, there's arrows telling you move left. This way, that tells you that there's a lane there merging into our lane. And if that's the case, you want to make sure that you're checking your mirror for anybody that's merging into your lane. Now when you hear the instruction to turn right at the next lights, don't just leave it until you get to the lights. Start making your way to the right nice and early. So like now, mirror, mirror, signal. Go into the middle lane because it's nice and safe. Check the mirrors again. And then go into the right lane. Yeah, so I'm not waiting until I get to the lights to then start moving over. When I get closer to here, to the lights, check my mirrors one more time, signals I'm braking gently, so that now people know I'm going to go into this lane. I'm not going to wait until I go over there. I'm going to go straight into the slip road, straight into this little lane here. Some people, they'll wait until they get over here to try and move over to the right. Don't do it like that, because other people behind you can go before you, and now you're stuck in that lane and you can't move over safely to the right. So as soon as the slip road opens up, start going in there nice and early. A lot of learners struggle to keep the car straight at high speeds like this, and that's because they keep the hands too stiff, and then they do big movements like this to the left and then to the right. Yeah, this is not safe, and you're going to be wobbling all over the lane. To make it safer, you have to do lots of small little turns, small little moves to keep the steering wheel straight. So when you're driving like this, I'm constantly making adjustments to make sure that I'm keeping in the middle. So if I feel going towards this way a tiny bit straight, I'm making a left and then right. Yeah, a left and then right. Left and then right. So I'm not keeping my hands stiff and still. They're constantly making small adjustments. That's how you keep the car nice and straight.